Hello, everybody. Welcome to SharePoint Power Hour. I'm sure a few of you have seen this presentation before, but basically we are the SharePoint team, the business solutions team at Rackspace, and every week we get together and just talk about different business solution topics, so different things related to SharePoint, whether that be something like workflows or business intelligence or planning and design or governance. We typically have a different session every week. And so I am actually going to be talking about document sets today. So this session may be a little bit shorter than our normal full hour sessions, but we'll try to get in as much as possible. On YouTube or on Google+, please feel free to use the Q&A button and ask us questions, whether they're related to document sets or not. We'll be just happy to take any questions. Before I get started, I want to go ahead and let the team introduce themselves, and so we'll kind of go and let them do that, and then I'll introduce myself, and then we'll jump into it. All right, so we'll start with Tavis. You want to go ahead first?
Sure, my name is Tavis Lovell, and obviously on the business solutions team, and I am the business intelligence guy on the team. So I do a lot of dev surrounding reports and dashboards and all those cool things in SQL Server and SharePoint that relate to BI. And today is a special day. Today is my 2-year anniversary of being a Racker. So
nice, awesome. All right, Stephen.
I'm Stephen Wilson from the Rackspace Business Solutions. Deal mostly with infrastructure and installation, administrative troubleshooting with the farm level stuff. And then I also help users, once they've got SharePoint up and running, the beginning steps of setting up sites, site collections, getting sort of the basics down as they move into the next area where someone will help them out with workflows and InfoPath and all the more advanced subjects. I kind of get them walking so that they can run.
All right, Ryan.
Hey everybody, I am Ryan Keller. I'm the branding guy on the business solutions team. My job is to make SharePoint look a little less SharePointy. So that's my thing. If you want SharePoint branding, I'm your guy.
All right, Kevin.
I'm Kevin Hughes. I'm the SharePoint architect on the team, and my role is to figure out all the requirements for our clients and customers, and then figure out what solution best fits for them. Been working with SharePoint for a long time, IT longer than many of my colleagues have been alive. So anyway, that's me.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump in, and I am Joelle Farley. If you've seen this, you've heard me introduce myself 1,000 times, but I am on the business solutions team like the rest of everyone here, and I focus a lot on planning and design governance as well as out-of-the-box features, similar to what you'll see kind of Laura talk about. I do a lot of that same stuff as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and screen share. Let's make sure we can see this. Can you guys see my screen? All right, I'm seeing nods, so that's a good thing. All right, so today I wanted to talk a little bit about document sets. So this will be a pretty basic session. So if you have any experience with document sets, a lot of what we're going to talk about you've probably dealt with before. But for those that may not have had a chance to really work with them or not really sure what they do, we wanted to just take some time and kind of go through that. So basically what you'll see is a document set is a content type that you can add to a library. It is a little bit different than a folder. It has some additional functionality over just a regular folder. You can actually, store different or have available different content types within your document set and that kind of thing. So it's a little bit more advanced than just a regular folder. And so if you have a library, so let me just go pull up a library really quick. So if I have a library and I want to add if I want to add a document set to have it be an option here. So right now if I go to File and New Document, I just see Document and then I have another thing here. But if I wanted to have a document set as a drop down here, then I would go to my library settings and add that from my default site column or site content types. So I'm going to go add from existing, and then if I, under the group of document set, we see document set here. And this is just the out of the box regular document set. So I can go ahead and add that to my library. So it's added to my library. I'm just going to remove that. So it's added to my library. So now if I go to Documents, File, New, I see document set, and as you can see here, it has a description. So it says create a document set when you want to manage multiple documents as a single work product. And that's kind of important because that's what kind of sets documents out from just creating a folder and putting documents into it. Because a document set can actually have a workflow run around the entire document set. You can manage metadata. You can have it so the metadata of the information in your document set is different from the metadata of the actual document set. So you can kind of work with things like that. So if I just create one, just a basic one here, just gonna call this test, put a description in, and then save. It brings me inside of my document set, and here I can upload different documents. And then I even have properties. So the properties of this one are just pretty basic. It's just the name, the content type, and the description. And then I can load different documents in here, and then if I go back to my library, and I can also manage, so I can see here I can edit the permissions on my document set and that kind of thing. And if I go back to my library, I now have a document set down here. So I can click this document set and it just brings me right into there, and then I can manage that. So that's just that's just kind of how you add the completely out of the box document set. But really what I wanted to focus on today is creating a custom document set and kind of taking all the features as far as they can go. So I want to push it a little bit past this one right here. And hold on one second, I just need to... I'm getting some notifications from Skype, so I'm going to go ahead and put that on so I don't have to keep hearing that. So I have documents here, like I said. So let's go ahead and let's go. Let me talk a little bit about the scenario that I'm going to kind of go through. So the scenario is I have an incident management process. So basically, whenever there's a new incident that happens at this company, somebody has to come in and submit a new incident. And part of that incident is there's specific instructions that have to be followed. There's different forms. There's different types of documents and photos and things like that that have to be loaded all together into one set. So that way, when that's set, it can kind of go through a workflow process all together. And so we're going to use a document set to kind of accomplish that. So I'm going to show you first how we created that custom content type. And then I'm going to show you the different pieces that we added to it. And then I'll show you how we associated a workflow, or how you can associate a workflow to it as well. So to start off, I just went to Site Settings, and I went to Site Content Types. And in my Site Content Types, if I scroll down here, I already have created one under Custom. Where'd it go? There it is, called Incident. But if I wanted to create a brand new document set content type, I could just go to Create. And then when I'm creating it, my parent, I would choose Document Set Content Type, and then Document Set as my parent. And then that way it will inherit all of the different features and functionalities from the document set into my new custom, and then I can customize it to fit what I need. I've already done that, so let's go ahead and take a look at that one. So we have incident here. So once I created my incident document set content type, this is what I have. And what I did is I went ahead and I wanted to, out of the box, document set has, as you saw before, it has a name and a description, or sorry, a title and a description that you can fill out. I wanted to add some additional metadata to this document set. So whenever anybody creates an incident, they don't just fill out name or they don't just fill out title or description. They can fill out location of the incident date, employees involved, etc. And so all I did here, if you're familiar with content types at all, is I just went ahead and added from new site columns, and I just created these 3 that you see here. And if I click Add from Site column, it looks a lot like creating a column on a list. So I just fill that out, choose where it gets stored, fill out all the features there, and then I click OK, and it would add it. So here I have location of incident, which is just a single line of text, incident date, date and time, and then employees involved, person or group. So once I do that, then I am good to go there. So then now if I just go over to incident management and kind of just show you this really quick. So now what I would do is I would go to a library. I would add, just like you saw me do earlier, I'd go to the library settings, go to advanced settings, and make sure that allow management of content types is turned on, which it is. And then I would be able to add from existing site content types. And then I would find that new content type I just created, which it's already been added, so you're not seeing it here, which was incident, and I'd add it over here. And that would add it to my library. And that's the incident one. And then, if I wanted to create a new incident, I could go to File, New Incident. This is a document set. And you'll see here, when I have my document set, I can go ahead and I can give it a name, description, and then here's those 3 additional metadata fields that I had added. So I could fill those out for this whole set here. But before we get into that, let's go back over to the content types. So in addition to just adding those, I have some other options that I have control over. So one of those things is right here, document set settings. This is something that you will see when you add a content type. You'll see a couple of different things here depending on what kind of content type you've added. Document sets have their own settings that you'll see. That's one of the reasons that we want to inherit from that parent. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then here, there's a bunch of different options and things I can do here. So they're pretty important. So one of the first things I can do is I can set, whenever somebody creates a document set, so for this one, whenever somebody creates a new incident, I can have it automatically have certain things in the drop-down for them. So when they click, once they create the document set and they're inside the document set, when they go to new, instead of just saying new document, maybe we need to have a couple, maybe there's some forms they should be able to click on, or adding a picture, or different things like that. And so what I've done with this one is I've added documents, the out-of-the-box thing, but I've also added picture, which is another out-of-the-box content type, because I knew that with an incident they may have to load some pictures. And then I have 2 custom content types that are forms. So I have incident form and witness form, and I added those over here as well. So now whenever anybody creates a new incident, they can use any of those things and add those to the document set. And then they all have their own metadata associated with them. Pictures have specific metadata. The incident form and witness form have specific metadata that are different from just a regular document. But I can go ahead and get those all added in. So after you have allowed content types, you also have default content. So let's say maybe you would like there to be, whenever a new document set is created or a new incident is created, there's already going to be, a certain document or certain file in that document set already. So the thing that I've added is I had an instructions document. An instructions document told them exactly how to handle every incident. And I have that added as a default content, so whenever they create a new incident, that instruction document's right there for them. So they can easily see that that's what they need to do to make sure that the incident's submitted correctly. And to add additional stuff, all you have to do is you choose the content type, which this is coming from the things you have available up here. You choose the content type, and then you can browse to your computer and choose what document you want to show up. And I'll just add like procedure A here so we can see that. I added a new one. And so you can continue to add that. You can also set, if you want to, you can add the name of the document set to each file. file name, so then that way it kind of tags, whatever. Let's say if the name of the document set in this situation was the incident ID, it would put that incident ID on those files. That might be helpful. And then shared columns. So what it's doing here is it's saying these are the columns of your document set. Do you want these to also be applied to anything else that's added to this document set? So if it's a picture, do you want it to automatically have these be tagged with this different information from the document set, or it's a witness form, etc. You can check those things, and then they'll automatically go down to that level. And then welcome page. So document sets have this idea of a welcome page. It's basically, let me duplicate this tab, and then I'll show you really quick. The document set I created, or you saw me create earlier, if I click test, whenever you click on a document set, this page that you're seeing here, this is considered the welcome page for your document set, because up here it has an image. It has, if we had filled out some properties here, you would see properties, and then it has all of the content down here. So within your content type, you can actually modify this to make it look specific to what you need. So let me go back over here. So I can decide on my welcome page what columns show up. So I've decided that I want employees involved, incident date, and location of incident to all show up. And then down here, I can say I want to customize this welcome page to maybe I want to show something specific or have some text on there. I've already done this with this one, so let's take a look. Let me customize the page. So I've actually modified this. I've put like this header here that says incident management procedures, read all directions and fill out appropriate documents before submitting a new incident. And then here, these are the out-of-the-box things. So it's just telling me it's going to show the property and property values and then the actual contents of the document set. And I can edit this just like a regular page. Let's say I wanted to add some more text here, so I could come down one. Picking up some stuff. So I can add some steps in here. I could add an image to this, and then anytime a new incident's created, it will have this information there for them. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop editing and just go back over here. I can close this actually. I can also update the welcome page of documents and set documents that's inheriting from this. So if I have something inheriting from incident, I can set that here, and then also update all content types inheriting. So I could set that as well. And that's pretty similar to what you'll see with any other content type. So then once I have all this information figured out, once I decided what things I want available, what documents I want them to see by default, how the welcome page is going to look, once I have that all figured out, I can go ahead and click OK. And so now I can go over, so incident management, add my document set if I haven't already, which I did. And now I'm going to go ahead and add a new one. So I'm going to go File, New Document. I'm going to add an incident. We're going to call this Incident 1, 2, 3, 4. So creative. I know. So creative. All right, location, we'll say Atlanta, Georgia. That's where I am. We'll say it happened on the 19th of October. If I'm the only person in my site, it'll have to be me. So I'm going to go ahead and I fill that out and hit save. And now you'll see I have my directions here. It doesn't look like it took those things I added. I may not have done that right. But yeah, so you can see incident management procedures, read all directions and fill out appropriate documents before submitting a new incident. And then I have my properties here, and then it shows what I filled out. And then down here is where I can see that I have by default, I have instructions and procedure A. Those are the two documents I had to add by default. And if I want to, my users now, they can come to File and New, and they can add pictures, incident forms, witness form. They can go ahead and fill that stuff out, and then it will be submitted to this document set here. And when they're all done, they could kick off a workflow to kind of put this through some kind of a approval process if needed. And take a quick break. Are there any questions or comments? Let me check the QA here. If you have any questions, feel free to put those in there. So yeah, so then once I have done this, now my as I add, so like if I added a incident witness form, let's add that. And I bet let me just add a picture, that'll be easier. Trying to find to see if I had any kind of stock pictures that would be good, but I don't think I do, so I'm just going to use an icon. Okay, and I'm going to add that. And you'll see now, because I'm using the content type of picture, I have all of these different metadata fields that are associated with pictures, so I could fill those out. And then go ahead and save. And then that's added to my document set. So I have a picture here, and then I could fill out everything else as well. Add additional documents, the incident and witness form. Usually these would open up, but I think I've been having an issue today with Internet Explorer and opening up Word documents. I have to look into that. But normally this would open up in Word. I'd fill it out and then hit save, and I'd be able to save it back to this document set. So, as you can see, I've customized the welcome page. I have my properties that are listed here. If I need to edit these properties, I can click Edit Properties and change those for this document set. And then I have the information down here. So I'm going to go back to my library. And so I have Incident here. Now, I had already added a workflow to this one when I was kind of messing around with it. So that one's in progress right now. But if I want to associate a workflow to this specific content type, so this new custom incident document set, if I want to add a workflow to this, then I can open up SharePoint Designer. And open up my site. And as of right now, the easiest thing to do is you can see I have a couple of things here that I was messing around with, but the easiest thing to do is if I want to associate a workflow just with that new document set, so that incident document set, the best thing to do is create a reusable, and then when I create a reusable workflow, I'll have the option here of choosing the platform type of SharePoint 2010. And as of right now, what I would want to do in order to associate this with that content type is I'd choose SharePoint 2010, and then I could choose the content type that I created. So incident was that one. And I could call this, I'm just going to call it another. Go ahead and create it. And then I could add, I'm just going to have this I could go ahead and have this start a task process if I wanted to, which is probably going to be the most common thing, is I would start an approval process that would route this incident, and it would actually route the entire incident, so not just the documents inside of there, but also the whole thing as a package. So you would have this incident would then be moved from different levels of approval. So maybe you want somebody to approve all the the pictures and the forms and everything that have been submitted. They can go in there, click on it, take a look, and then approve it, and then it gets moved to the next process. And so you can start an approval process and kind of build out your workflow to do that. And I'll just do an assign a to-do item for right now. Just keep it pretty simple. Oops. Go ahead and do that. And the thing is the reason that I use the SharePoint 2010 workflow and associated it to my content type is because then what I can do is assign new incident tasks to these users here. If I want to do things like using the workflow to look up different pieces of metadata about my document set. If I do workflow lookup for user here, then I would actually, when I have current item, I'd actually see things like employees involved. That is a metadata field that's just associated to my content type. Otherwise, I wouldn't see those specific fields. So that's why I did it that way. So I could associate that. We'll just use that for now. We'll do as email. So I've added that. Click OK. I can log something to the history list. We'll just say task created. Just keep it full. And then my workflow settings. Here I can see that the type, and then it's tied to a content type. I can disable manual start, disable automatic start on item creation or item change. I can choose those options because it's reusable. And then when I'm done, I can just do save and publish. And now I need to associate this workflow to the content type. Because it is currently associated, but it's not on that content type yet, so it's not actively going to work on there. So I go back to my site settings, site content types, and then incident, which is right here. And I'm going to click workflow settings. I already have one workflow, but I'm going to add another one. And I'm going to see any workflow that's been associated, all the workflows that are applied to everything. So you'll see like the approval and 3-state and click signatures like Laura was talking about last week or the week before. But another incident workflow is the one that I just created. And it's showing up because I associated it to this content type. I choose the task list and the workflow history list it's associated with. And then down here I can say, do I want to allow it to be manually started? And we're actually going to let this one be manually started. And then add this to workflow to all related content types, yes or no. And then I can click OK. And then if you want it to be you want the workflow to automatically start when a new item is created, then you can set that here. What I'd probably do for a document set, though, is I would set it to when an item is changed. And that way you would have some kind of status field or something on the document set that they could change. And then when they change that, it means it's ready for an approval process. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So now we have incident and another incident. So let's go over to incident management. And I think I have that. Let's look at this. So this one, it's very similar. So basically here, this workflow, it ran on that incident 1, 2, 3, 4 I created earlier. And it gave me a task of approve incident. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that task. And I can complete it. And then it will be completed here. Or I can also just start off like the brand new one I just added. Let's go here, workflows, and I'm going to start another incident. Start it. So we'll see that other incident workflow is in progress, so I can click here. Now it's also sending me emails, but instead of messing with those, I'm just going right into the workflow history. So I'm going to click on this new incident task. Then I can complete the task. And then you'll see here the comment from the workflow history task created. So we see the workflow ran. So that's how easy it is to associate a workflow to a specific content type. And then that way, if this document set content type of incident was used over and over again throughout your site, that workflow would follow it. And you'd be able to, not have to recreate it over and over again. You'd just create it once, associate it to that content type. Content type was used. You would see it you'd see the workflow as well. And that's not just for document sets. That's for any custom content type that you create. All right. Any questions or comments? Let's see if we have any questions. How about you guys? Anybody on my team have any document set examples that you've had? Any way you've used document sets that have been really helpful for clients or anything? Does everybody avoid document sets like the plague?
No, I've used them quite often. The most common thing I've done is for handling sets of documents or collections of documents involving around some sort of contract or vendor relationship where they all the
Yeah.
documents have to move through a approval process as a set, and then we would use the document set um, to maintain all that, to make sure that all the documents got tagged with the same metadata, and so they're all searchable, and then they all became if we move into records management, they all become a record all at once and all get retained as a set according to the longest retention policy of that contract.
Yeah, that makes sense too. hmm Anyone else?
It looks like Anne has a question in the
Okay.
window
Yeah,
there.
I see it now. Any limitations or gotchas you've come across with document sets? Um, there, it's one of the things that I have seen that's always wonky is creating folders within document sets. Like it allows you to do it, and you'll see them in like uh your like if you open up what do they call that? Not this thing, Explorer. If you open up Explorer, you'll be able to see them, but then they won't display correctly, or you'll have issues with the way they show in a document set. So I think folders would be the one gotcha that I have kind of run into, that they just don't work as you would assume they should with document sets.
The biggest gotcha I've found with document sets is that they don't take customization of the interface. So you can display the different pieces of data on that welcome page, but you don't really have a lot of control over the design of how it displays. It doesn't take branding very well, but
Mm.
beyond that, they're wonderfully functional.
Yeah. Actually, I mean the positives over regular just using like a folder and putting stuff in a folder is just all the options you have with metadata and customization and everything like that. It's a lot of stuff that you can't do with just putting things in a folder. And also they work a little bit better. I think search handles them. From what I've heard, search handles document sets a little bit better than it handles folders. So hopefully that answers that for you. Any other questions? It doesn't have to be related to document sets, just anything in general. Feel free to stick out there. Even if we can't answer it today, we'll be happy to take it offline and get you an answer next week. I'm not seeing anything, but we'll give it a second. My email's apparently delayed because I'm like just getting emails about those tasks I created earlier. It's like, thanks, I know. Way ahead of you, SharePoint. All right, let me check questions again. Oh wait, here we go. Can you use OneDrive for Business to sync a library with a document set content type? That is a good question. Let's see. Let's see how it works. Yep, so you can. It definitely those documents that show up, and there's the documents in there. So hopefully that answers your question. That's my OneDrive for Business. I just synced the library itself to it. If that doesn't answer your question, just let us know. All right. While we're waiting for questions, does you guys have any interesting SharePoint news or SharePoint Saturdays or presentations coming up, trainings, anything like that?
I have a training next week, starting Monday and going through the week. So anybody who's interested in some SharePoint administrative training, or anybody who knows someone who's interested, feel free to contact me. I posted something earlier today on Google Plus because that's the only social networking I use, sadly. But also Stephen.Wilson, PHEN, at rackspace.com if you have any questions for me. And then also you can find information about it on point.rackspace.com.
Yep.
I also have some training coming up, but not until a little bit later this week, or this month. On the 19th, we have the reporting services class that we run monthly. So if you guys are looking to get some a head start on some reporting services development, even if you don't know anything about reporting services at all, or maybe if you know just a little bit, we cover really from step one to creating some pretty robust reports in that class. So that's available on the 19th.
Awesome. All right, we have one more question. Tony Wilson. One of the things we're trying to accomplish is for the devs to have a space for images, icons, and then push out to user as approved content to use for the other site. Not sure if document set or other way would work. Actually, a document set probably would work for that, since you have several different types of content. So, like you said, images and then other things as well. A document set would work for that, and then you could put in like a really simple approval workflow on that, and then let it go through. Once it's approved, then they can take that and use that on the other site. So that is a good solution for document sets. It sounds like, just from what you're saying there. Hopefully that helps. All right, guys. I don't see any other questions, so we'll wrap up. We're a little bit early. I know Laura will be mad at me. No, I'm just kidding. But Laura is actually she's away at a conference this week, and so she'll be back with us, I think, next week, unless she has training. I'm not sure. But she should be back with us next week, and then we will, by the end of the week, I'm sure we will have our topic for next week. Unless anybody have any ideas for next week already? Just wanted to check, since I haven't checked the calendar yet. No? Yeah. So we'll get it figured out this week, and then we'll get that posted for you guys sometime later this week. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. Hope you learned something new, and we will see you around. Bye.